Just a heads up for any of you that feel like you may have missed something in this broadcast you want to go back and watch, or there's something you can't make out or doesn't look clear, please come. You can see the broadcast streaming or download it in its entirety at fantasysportpros.com.
Welcome back to round 4 of the 2006 Fantasy Football Champs Challenge, brought to you by Fantasy Sport Pros, where you can download and stream the video whenever you want. So, back to the 4th round, John. Who do we have up first?
We're looking at fantasyfootball.com, and like we said before, had a great first 2 rounds, followed up with a solid pick with Roy Williams. Cornell Williams is his #1 back. Steve Smith is his #1 wide receiver. Roy Williams, who he now has 2 of our top 7 or 8 or 9 wide receivers. He's got a pick on the clock now. Probably going to either target. He only has 1 runner, so it wouldn't shock me if he either took a tight end here or followed up with a runner, because he's not going to go. Remember, he's not going to go for 22 picks. So if he doesn't take a runner soon, he actually is going to have a real hard time fielding a couple of them. So
I just want to comment real quick before they pick, comment something on our team. In the 2nd round, when we took Owens, we were looking at Bolden there. So to get Bolden back in the 3rd is a grand slam.
absolutely.
I mean, if we had, it was Owens or Bolden, we got both.
Great point, Ian. You did a great job.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
All right, so back to the draft. Looks like Fantasy Football has taken a running back. They've taken Tatum Bell. Now, Tatum Bell, obviously, there's a lot of rumors surrounding if he's actually going to be the #1 runner there or not. We don't really know. Right now, Shanahan has threatened using Mike Bell, a rookie.
Undrafted rookie.
Undrafted rookie, but problem is we think it's a little bit of a motivational thing for Tatum Bell. Tatum Bell is explosive as a backup or really as the #2 at 1,000 yards.
He averaged 5 yards a carry, 8 touchdowns. I mean, he was explosive. Their fear is that he can't do it every day, and he can't be the short yardage guy. So when he's in the game, you know, he's not going to be in the game on 3rd and 1, things like that. They want an everyday back in there to do it. They want him to be a change of pace back, possibly. He's got to prove in the preseason that he can be an every down back. But if he is, he's explosive. It's a good pick. I mean, again, get to the 4th round, the runners get thinned out, you got to take shots. It's a great shot to take.
No, I think it's a good shot. If it doesn't pan out, he's got 3 solid picks that probably will make some of the room. I do think it has taken a little bit of the luster off his entire draft and the way he was going. He really had a chance to really get a leg up on all of us by taking maybe one of the top tight ends who you know are going to put consistent points on the board for you. But he really needs to get a running back. You can't risk having 1 running back with 22 more picks. So I suspect what we're going to see is some of these teams ahead of us that only have 1 runner start to load up on a couple of the question mark running backs. So with that, we've got FF today on the board. He's got Brian Westbrook, Torrey Holt, Donald Driver, and just selected Willie Parker, running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good pick. I tell you, if he made it back to us, we probably would have been arm wrestling right now whether we should have taken him or not, because we need another runner.
Fast Willie.
But good pick. He needed a runner. He's got one. He's now got two of the smaller side runners. So, you know, he's got some injury concerns there, but he had to take another runner off the board.
Right now, just to interject here, I'm looking at the schedule. You want to make sure, just checking, you know, we check as soon as we pick. Bye weeks, very important. You don't want to take your first picks, you know, you don't want everyone to have the same bye week because it's a losing proposition. So Owens is off week 3, and Anquan Bolden off week 9, and you know the next guy we pick, we're going to try to avoid a week 3 or week 9, so we have different guys. You know, we don't have the same guys off every week. It makes it a little bit more difficult.
All right, we've got ESPN on the clock. They've got 3 runners. They have on their team already Rudy Johnson, Reggie Bush, Jamal Lewis. They need to fill out some other positions. They're going to need to get a wide receiver, and looks like with that they have just taken Plexico Barres of your New York Football Giants.
My New York Football Giants?
Good pick, I tell you.
Homer pick. We love Plexico. We have him at 9 overall. He was one of 2 wide receivers left in the 3rd tier of wide receivers. So, you know, great pick. He needed a receiver, and you know, maybe we criticized ESPN for taking that 3rd running back there, but it worked out. You know, Barres wasn't taken. Driver and Williams went before him, and if he was targeting Barres, who I like better than Driver and Williams, you know, it was a grand slam home run.
We have Barres at number 9, just so you know. We liked him a lot. We had him in our top 10. We think he had a phenomenal, we don't think, we know he had a phenomenal start to the last season, and we think he's going to be able to do that for a longer period of time with more games with Eli Manning, who is, as we all know, a burgeoning superstar. So we've got KFFL. No, we've got
Fantasy Index is on the board. They selected Deshaun Foster, running back, Carolina Panthers. So again, you know, you're starting to get some of these fringe boomer bust runners coming off, you know, which is just the nature of the beast. You got to take shots. You know, you got to get running backs to play. A lot happens during the course of a 16-game season, 17-week season. You know, guys get hurt. You have guys starting for, you know, 4, 5, 6-game stretches. Deshaun Foster could be a great back for periods of the time.
All right, and we have KFFL to fight off a quick pick. They took Warwick Dunn, another guy that needed to get, he wanted to get his third runner on his team. The guy's a
Classic
starter.
KFFL pick.
Nothing wrong with Warwick Dunn in the fourth. The guy catches a lot of footballs. You know,
It's a great
he
pick.
gets
I
it
just
done.
looked at him.
He's a bit of a,
So we're up in 2
undervalued
picks.
guy. We're up in 2 picks. We really need to get a running back on our team. That being said, we're not going to ever get backed into a corner and force ourselves to pick anything that we don't think is the right selection. But what I like to do is kind of tie down on 2 picks that we'd like. I think
We have Darrell Jackson left in the third tier of wide receivers, but we're really high on Nate Burleson.
exactly right.
Plays for the same team. That being said, you know, we're looking at Joseph Adai, Dominic Rhodes play for the same team at running back. We're looking at Deuce McAllister, you know, coming off injury. Reggie Bush is in town. After that, we're looking at Frank Gore, Cedric Benson, Freddie Taylor, you know, guys we can probably get later. I mean, is the pick Darrell Jackson, or do we go tight end here with Shockey? I think we can get Heap later in the 6th and wait and possibly take Darrell Jackson here. We'd have the best
What do you
receiving
think of
core in the
Sprinkler
game.
and Fred Taylor?
Here.
Well, my fear is if we don't take him here, Draft Sharks only has 1 runner. He's taking at least 1 runner with one of the next 2 picks.
Well, his ADP is 5'8". It's 5'8"?
5'8", which means he
We're-
goes 5'8". We'd have to take him at 5'6" if we don't take him here if we expect to get him. If we don't end up with a second runner, we could back ourselves into a bit of a hole, having to start at least 2, if not 3 each week. I like you said, don't want to take Darrell
Okay.
Jackson here.
It's a moot point. Football diehards just took Darrell Jackson.
Good. I don't want him. We want Nate Burleson later. We think he can outperform Darrell
Is that
Jackson
twice?
much later.
No, that's once. Draft Sharks did it to me.
All right, so we're up. We're on the
Really
clock.
care for
Darrell
that.
Jackson went. We are looking at Tiki Barber, Terrell Owens, Anquan Bolden. We do not necessarily need a wide receiver here. We've got probably the best 2 in the game on any of these teams. Yeah, I'd take R2. And we're looking at, do we take Jeremy Shockey, another Giant? Certainly don't take a quarterback like we told you.
I think there are 3 tight ends. I know there are 3 tight ends in that first tier left. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 teams. There's 1 tight end. 4 teams without a tight end. Pardon me. There's 5 teams total. Be very upset if we skip on a tight end here and one doesn't come back to us. That being said, Todd Heap
We talked about Top Heat in the 5th or 6th, and
in the 5th,
that would be next round.
if they go off, we're looking at Crumpler, Witten, Cooley, McMichael.
I think
Who
we
do
got to
you
get a
want?
runner.
You think a runner is the pick?
I think we need to get a runner because if Fred Taylor comes off the board, we're literally looking at Chris Brown
not
as our
be
number
bad.
2, Frank Gore as our number 2, trying to pick
Okay.
whether it's a Day or Rhodes as our number 2 or Deuce McAllister. So we're in trouble. under number
Fragile
2.
Freddy. So that's who you want to pick.
Yeah, we'll back him up later with Greg
wanna-
Jones in case he gets hurt, who's going to come into his own eventually in this league. That offense is one of our up-and-coming.